It's a gloomy day. I'm not waiting a minute. We have to wait a minute for it.
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming
It's
and
Monday.
KHFC Magic 95
assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears no responsibility for their opinion.
Well, you can't be mad at COVID. We've got a storm brewing in the Bay of Campeche. You can't be mad at the rioting.
Where is the
COVID? Where is the Bay of Campeche?
We don't know.
Got to keep an eye on all these things. Bob and Doug are in space, all that and more coming up with today's Wade and Carter Show.
Who are the two dudes on the McKenzie brothers?
Bob and Doug. Thanks for playing.
Well, I'm not Canadian.
You don't even get a consolation prize.
I'm not Canadian.
You don't get the mix master on your way out today. Hey, there we go. How are you this morning?
Very serious. Very, very serious.
No, it's a very serious
It's
show.
a Tuesday. It's very serious.
Very serious show.
So I went to Commissioner's Court yesterday.
And?
Boring. A lot of talking, a lot of chirping, a lot of people stating their cases.
Cases for what?
Well,
Do I dare ask?
We had the judge on recently and talked about the purchasing policy that he's kind of trying to implement. And what I'm getting, and in all fairness to the court and in all fairness to Judge Zeller, is there was like a very polite posturing. I think Commissioner Yannick and Commissioner Ives both stated eloquently their logic for why this purchasing policy is not ideal for them. It's a tenuous situation because the judge is promoting a policy of kind of more accountability, and it's hard for a
more
guy,
transparency. Yeah,
right?
I can see that.
So, but if you're a guy, like I have complete confidence in Clint Ives, I do, as far as his motives and what he's after. And for Clint to say, yeah, but this is a problem, and he cited an example. He said, let's just say that because I'll give you an example of a situation I had recently. TxDOT had finished up a job and had some aggregate left over. And he goes, stuff that we were able to purchase at 20 cents on the dollar. They didn't want to haul it back. They couldn't give it away, but their purchasing department allowed them to sell it to us for 20 cents on the dollar, what it costs us. And it's a storable asset. I mean, it's not like it's not like buying milk. It's not going to go bad.
Yeah.
But I had to go right then and get some trucks to go get the stuff. Or they were going to call another county. Can you come get it? And he goes, I ain't got time to mess around with getting 3 bids. And I kind of had some empathy for that. And,
something like that, couldn't you get a standing bid? I can't imagine.
I don't know. So immediately you come up with a potential solution, and that's really what Kevin Yannick called for yesterday. He goes, in fact, I think it's on the front page of today's paper. There's a lot to still be done here. This is not substantially complete. I agree with that. And by the way, it never stops impressing me that Judge Zeller was like, that's fine. Let's work together and find the solution. Yeah, but he didn't say, okay, let's scrap the project. He said, fine, then let's find the way to make this work, because this is taking the county dragging and clawing and kicking against it into the 21st century.
Well, and you've got to be, your policies can't be too restrictive that they're not nimble enough to allow you to do business when it makes sense to do business.
If you're a commissioner, you've got to be able to say, Omaha.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to throw that audible. You've got to call it audible.
I mean, if you can buy something for 20% of what it might cost you otherwise.
It's like going to TJ Maxx for road material.
Kind of. I mean, I can't imagine that Well, there probably would be one taxpayer out there who would get mad that you broke a policy, but then you've got to have a policy that says, in certain circumstances where you can definitely prove that
Right.
you're benefiting the county or your precinct, there's got to be
Well,
exceptions that can be made.
When I
because,
go back
I
to
mean,
30,000 feet, they do
you're
have,
saving 80% in that case.
sure, and they have requisition forms that allow you to bypass the policy. And I think this is two things worth noting. At least one, I'll remember one of them. If you allow a guy an exception form, then you say, well, I didn't have, here's why I didn't have time, or here's why I chose to use so-and-so because I know of his expertise in this field. Then you're at least documenting your reasoning for what you do. And would you agree then, if we've got 4 separate commissioners, 4 separate precincts, and at the end of a year, one guy has 3 exceptions, one guy has 2 exceptions, one guy's got 19 exceptions, and another guy has 1. The guy with 19 probably needs to be kind of looked at. Like, why are you always having exceptions to our policy?
Yeah.
And then that's worth noting that ultimately, and this is what I think all 4 commissioners agree, the voters will decide. If I do it my way and it's able to be explained that it benefits my precinct, I don't need the county judge telling me, I've been doing my job for 4 to 5 years, don't need nobody telling me how to do it. That's fine. And I think Judge Ziller agrees with that. He's just saying, in this world of transparency, in this world where whatever happened in precinct 4 at the airport, which wasn't on Clint Ives' watch because it's not really, the airport's separate. It sure did rain down on the judge more than it rained down on the commissioners. So at the end of the day,
Well,
he
can't-
wants some accountability.
Well, you can't be for more transparency and for changing
You've got to
your
have
bid
bureaucracy.
procedures.
Bureaucracy equals transparency. You've got to have it.
You can't be for wanting transparency with the airport and not for wanting transparency
Correct.
with all county
Well, in
business
fairness,
ventures.
in your
know.
business, you have a lot of autonomy to make decisions on how some funds are spent, but you also get bids or at least quotes, not bids, like they're not binding.
No, we've got a similar. We've got a threshold where we have to get formal bids.
Sure. I think all state entities do.
We have a threshold where we can just get informal bids or quotes.
Right.
And even with the bidding process, and I think the county's the same way, you don't always have to go with the lowest one. You can provide best value. If
Right.
you know company B always does good work and they're always on time, and company A has a record of not always delivering their best work and not always on time, but they're cheaper, and it's not a huge amount of money,
Right.
you can make a justification that county B is actually going to save us money because we're going to be on time. The quality is going to be better, and on-curring expenses.
Sure. And then again, if it ever comes up, you've got it documented and you know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know who is company B then? Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Call company B. He's the
It'd be company A.
boy, company B. Yeah, well, company A was the loser
Well,
in
yeah,
this
but
case.
in this
Company
case,
B is
They're
Allen's Wrecker Service.
AAA Allen's. is yours.
578-6300. Your go-to toe-to. Give them a call. They also have an office now, a yard, if you will, in Refugio. So much demand down there that I have a theory. See, I think those big rig truckers, I think they're getting them a 12-pack when they hit the road. By the time they get to Refugio, they're getting a little swervy. They ended up in the ditch, and Allen had to open up a yard down there.
I'm thinking that was just smart by Allen because he saw the potential for more business with all the
Absolutely.
construction going on with that new mobile Lexon.
Yes, sir. The
plant
Highway
down there. Highways
77
are
corridor.
busier. Yep.
That corridor is great. The VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer all reside on Kerr Boulevard. That's just inside the loop off Main Street, Highway 87. Get over there if you need phone accessories, a new phone, an iPad, if you need Samsung equipment,
A tablet of some sort.
phone covers, if you need surround sound, surveillance for your home, fire suppression, fire detection.
Video Doorbell Pro,
If you need work done on right
Control
of way,
4, they can do it all.
they do it all. The VCS companies are the gold standard of quality and assurity in our business, and we appreciate them
If
as
it
our title sponsor.
communicates in any way, shape, or form, they are the ones to call.
A new, small, not real new, but a small family-owned business, local, SCT Building Systems. Clayton and Casey Held are making a name for themselves by doing it right. Whether it's a he said, she said,
Ooh, that was good.
whatever it is, they do it.
You've been practicing.
I try. It's hard for me to say she said, she said. It's hard, and I just can't do it very well.
He
But I'll
shed,
tell you
she
this,
shed.
there you go.
You gotta go that way. If you go she shed, he shed, it's a little, well, not as tough.
It's more of a he said, she said,
Kind of.
kind of like politics.
Yeah.
Reach out to them at 564-8864. Clayton and Casey Helt will help you with your next project, all the way from any type of a little lean-to to a full-blown barn dominium. They can do it. Anything with red iron and steel, they're good for you. Call them.
Chestnut Furniture Company, 116 West Wan Lynn, downtown Victoria. They've only been in that location for 70 years, folks. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
COVID didn't chase them away.
They were in downtown Victoria when that just was Victoria.
That's all it was.
Go see Bobby Leon. His family's been running that business for 100 years, 70 years in their current location. Super friendly folks. They didn't get to where they were by not letting you just do better at Chestnut.
50% off all furniture during their 100th birthday celebration. I don't know how you can do any better.
The other thing that Ash and I take pride in, and it did just evolve. Make no mistake, when we started the show, we would have just taken pretty much any sponsor. We would have. But what has happened over the 4 years now, roughly, that we've been on the air, all of our sponsors, local,
Yeah, three and a half
smaller,
plus anyway.
family-owned businesses who all have people that we know well and are good people, community stewards, people that give back, people like Uncle Mutz. It's not a coincidence that they're the multi-year sponsor of Warriors Weekend. That's who they are. They're the kind of people that gravitate to an open format where your thoughts and your concerns are welcome. Call us anytime.
And we don't and we don't shut you down. We don't cancel culture you out just because
No.
you might have a differing viewpoint. So
No, I told Ash it's not we're not controversial. We're just right. So call us 575-9509 if you got something to share. Where has our friend Funk and Trey Molina been? Let's bring in our guest. Who else?
well, we missed this, so we got to do this.
Oh, I did forget that.
Oh, well, we just kind of got into it this morning, and that's
We had to jump right in there.
yeah, it's what happens sometimes. So let's catch back up.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by me and Ash. I'm trying to find Victoria. 73 degrees. The Rock is multi-locational. 73 degrees heading to a high today of 89. It's all over the map today, folks. You go from chance of rain early afternoon to sunny by 6 o'clock. It's
Good.
73.
Sunny and just in time for night.
Right. The sun's going to
Awesome.
peek out just for a nice sunset.
Right when it sets.
But it's 73 to 89. Just a nice swing.
I didn't notice the red sky this morning, so that's good. But
You don't need your sweater.
no. Bobby Leister is in.
Tell me about Bob and
Randy
Dave.
Langston, Marvin Mickish, David Rice. Good morning, Chris Conrad, David Glass. Still holding steady at 61 YouTube subscribers, thanks to our Leisterometer right there. CW Bean checking in, Christina Wise, Judge Posey, Patrick Strauss, Rena Scherer,
Hi, Rena.
Larry Leahy, BJ Nelson, Stephen Kidder,
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Stephen.
Scott Snow, Lisa Poole, Tammy Darlene, good morning to you. Karen Webb.
Wait, did she say hi, guys?
She didn't say anything. I just said good morning.
Okay,
to you.
good. I thought she might just say hello, Ash.
Monica Jost, Joe Mitchell. We'll get to your comments in a second here, Joe, because yep, I got something there. Yep, happy Tuesday, Ash, right there.
Tammy Darlene.
Bobby Sparkman.
She's in California.
No, I think she's in Indiana. We're huge in Indiana.
Yankee.
Billy Imes, Pablo Perez, Kathleen Berlanga, Lacey Merriman, Natalie Mayer, Mike Washke, my brother Corky checking in,
Hello, Michael.
Diane O'Quinn, HR Mallory, HR, good to see you. Great birthday surprise for your daughter yesterday, Michaela.
Yeah, that was
pretty cool.
awesome. I got a call from our good friend Bob Constantine, and HR was having to be in Austin yesterday, and it just kind of got on Bob's heart. He goes, "I'm going to go by and pick them up and take them to Cherryberry for her birthday." So what a great experience! Elegant Limousine folks, great folks, went by and picked up little Michaela Mallory and took her to Cherryberry in a limousine for her birthday. Remember that the next time you need to go somewhere and reach out to Elegant Limousine.
Here's the problem, though.
He'll take you to Cherryberry.
Bob's just created a huge problem for next year's birthday.
Yeah.
For HR.
What do you do now?
How do you top that
A
one?
swag copter.
Yeah, exactly. Paul Edward checking in. Robert Bird, good morning. We're huge in Arkansas this morning. Katina Arterberry, my beautiful wife
I'm
Cheryl's
a little
checking in.
sheepish now. Katina heard us talking nice about her.
See who else has checked in real quick.
You know T-Lat's there. Your lovely wife. Sure.
Ryan Hopping, Lisa Poole, Johnny Houghton, good morning. Clint Ives. His
Commissioner,
ears
good morning.
must have been burning this morning.
Commissioner, you can, if I misstated in any way the situation in court yesterday, feel free to call.
So remember when the left would vilify you because you felt that, well, we felt kind of from day one that there was a little bit of an overreaction on the COVID thing.
Yeah.
And that because we weren't in agreement with shutting down businesses and deeming some businesses essential
We
over
weren't
others.
sensitive. We weren't sensitive.
We weren't sensitive. We wanted people to die. We were killers. We were every name in the book that you could probably
Typical
imagine.
Republicans, all they
Yeah.
care about is money.
Yeah. And Joe Mitchell says we're seeing cops being shot and attacked. This is starting up again. It's sickening. And that kind of gets me to where I was going with my rant here, because apparently now, according to the left, if you're outspoken and mad at the rioting,
You're insensitive.
you obviously can't be mad at the death of George Floyd. And again, they're not mutually exclusive here.
Right.
I can be equally as mad at the jackass is the kindest word I can use on the radio that killed him.
Right. Without supporting criminal activity on the part of those that are outraged.
And I can be mad at that lawlessness. And I can be mad at the lawlessness going on in our cities in response to that.
I heard
But-
a CEO today.
But apparently, according to left, I can't be.
No, but I heard a CEO today say capitalism is under attack. And the idea is that these rioters and looters are saying, fine. His comment was that 2/3 of American buyers now are brand sensitive. They like to know what the products they buy stand for. And he said capitalism is under attack, and this is an opportunity for American business to step up and show where they stand on things. And he said folks are out there lashing out and saying, fine, if the city or the police are going to do this to George Floyd, then we're going to hit that city where it hurts, and that's in the capitalistic portion where all the tax money comes from that pays all the cops. So the idea makes, sick. Clint, I said, I'm sorry I wasn't listening. Thanks, Clint. I do wonder, though, I don't think that I'm a hypocrite by being sickened, as we immediately expressed we were, over the senseless death of George Floyd, and also immediately pointing out that this is coming because the opportunistic ne'er-do-wells are going to use this opportunity to get a Samsung, is exactly what I think we said. I can be just as upset at them for being lawless idiots as I can for the cops being lawless idiots in Minneapolis.
And now you're starting to see people get killed.
Well, this won't end well. Here's what's going to happen in one of these cities.
Where's the gun control left screaming at the looters and the rioters?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, I saw a lady, it's an older lady. There were some guys, they had a 2x4. They were beating on the windows of her shop. And I'm just telling you, if I'd have been driving by at the time that these two big old guys hit this woman with a 2x4, I would have stopped my car and shot them. I would have. I'm just telling you. They hit an elderly woman with a 2x4 in front of her shop after defacing it, and I would have shot them. Now, where I'm leading with that is not threatening anybody. It's to share with you that if you play this scenario out, and don't worry about Donald Trump sending federal troops, if the cities decide they've had enough and they decide to open fire on a group of looters, looters are going to die in large numbers, and they cannot win this battle. It's time to retreat.
Unfortunately, so a lot of other people that are just there as collateral damage.
Then you know what? Don't be
Well,
there.
there's that.
How about the idiot?
It's
the
interesting.
idiot that took his kid to the riot, and then they were going, "Look, the police put tear gas on the little girl." Well, the little girl. What are you doing with a 6-year-old at a riot?
Yeah,
idiot. I'd give her some milk and call CPS.
It's interesting though that you know the peaceful protests are taking place during the day, and it's night when all this garbage starts happening.
And the mainstream media absolutely fuels this. You don't see, only on places like Twitter do you see where the sheriff of one area took off his riot gear, walked out into the crowd and said, "We're better than this," and calmed the whole situation. Only on off news sources do you see where the police officers walked off their line and took a knee.
They did
and
it.
Protesters came over and kneeled with them. And it appeared to me they were having a moment of prayer for their community.
Yeah.
That ABC is not going to say this just in. Peaceful minds prevail. That's not going to happen.
Chris Conrad says, "Great parenting, using your 6-year-old as a human shield." That's exactly what they were doing.
It's very Talibanish is what it is. It's very Middle Eastern Talibanish.
But my wife pointed out to me, Cheryl's pointed out that I think it was Wichita, Kansas. Black Lives Matter and the police sat down for a lengthy dialogue, sort of like over a picnic lunch in the park. Very interesting concept, and that's what needs to happen.
And it shouldn't take the death of George Floyd to make that to the forefront.
No.
That should be happening on an ongoing basis.
I was listening to Sonny Johnson. She hosts a radio show on Saturdays called Sonny's Corner. Black woman, conservative in nature, very, very much, and she this morning, she was appalled at the mainstream media because what they're not getting out is the grassroots Black communities' efforts to fix their communities from the inside. She's appalled at the Democrats that have been getting all this money and it never gets down to these grassroots movements.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever get a chance to listen to her, she's on Sirius Patriot on Saturdays. I encourage you. At the very least, it'll open your eyes to a perspective that the mainstream media will not cover, despite being justice warriors and for equality. She discusses life in the city and the issues and the impact and the things that won't be talked about by the media, because all they want to do is drive a narrative that there's hate and racism in this country.
It's as our friend Sheriff AJ Latterback said yesterday, the differences between rural and urban. 100 years ago, the United States was still a relatively rural country. Lots of farms, lots and lots of family farms. Now, everybody loads up and goes to the city. The influences are different. Lots going on. Man, I hope hockey comes back. Your hair is just out of control. So, but you got to wonder where the narrative does not end well if the protesters decide to bring, a 2x4 to the gunfight. And then it's
No,
gonna be,
but they're starting to bring guns
well,
to the
then
protests,
they deserve to be shot.
and it's not going to end well. A Polk County sheriff, where was that? Florida?
It's got to be Lakeland, Florida. He said, "Hey, he goes, we don't pay a lot of attention to social media, but
There was a buzz.
there's a rumor out there that some of these protesters are thinking about taking their anger into our neighborhoods." He said, "The folks in Polk County, they own guns. I encourage them to own guns, and you need to understand if you go into their homes to loot or to set fire, I am encouraging them to blow you back out of their homes." I think that's just a given in Texas. It's a romantic thing for a sheriff to say, "I'm going to empower my constituents to defend their property." I mean, hey, if you're a suicidal protester, come on by. I'll pop a cap in you. That's got no problem.
I found some of the rhetoric interesting, though, by the media as well. If you were against the COVID lockdowns,
Mm-hmm.
you were a fascist, you were a Nazi, you wanted people dead,
You didn't care about your
didn't
fellow
care about your
man.
fellow man, you didn't care about law, you were lawless.
Right. Where's your
Right.
mask?
You were a protester.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're a rioter, and you're for laws, which doesn't make any sense to me because you're actually violating laws and breaking them. You're not a rioter, you're a demonstrator.
These are opportunistic thieves.
Yeah.
They said
And the media has been lying to you a little bit too, because it isn't just people. They analyze the driver's licenses of those that were arrested in Minneapolis
Mhm.
with the riots. The majority of them were from Minnesota, and I'm not talking 51%. I'm talking
80%.
yeah. I mean,
90%.
it's there's a few from out of state, but
But it's as the sheriff said, what they do is they come in, they bring in their Antifa people, and they
no, they don't need a bunch of them. They just need a few to get
Get 'em
things
worked
stirred
up,
up, like
and
the
then
sheriff
leave.
said, and then they're out of there and let everybody else foot the bill for the damage and destruction that they've instigated and were the catalyst
ones.
for.
Absolutely.
No, but and you look at the problems in Minneapolis. The death of Castile, right? Driving while black, basically.
Right.
They've had a few others. And then you look back, Democrat DA, or as they call them up there, county attorney.
It's all happening in cities with Democratic mayors.
Well, not all, but
Well, I mean, show me a conservative city where it's happening. I mean, anybody, show me a nice conservative community where we've had this garbage.
well, maybe because they're not being covered by. Well, I'll tell you, there were 3 peaceful protests in Victoria yesterday. One by the jail,
Right. And I'm all
one on
about
the
it.
weekend,
All
and
about it,
me
man.
too.
That's awesome. I think it's awesome that people show that they can peacefully assemble, express their. Sometimes that's like a healing thing. It's not my style, but I don't begrudge somebody that right. I mean, yippee for Brand. He agrees with the Constitution. They have the right to do it. Good. Go knock yourself out. Go on down to the protest, get your fair share of abuse, and then go home. But don't go down to the protest and write graffiti all over our courthouse. And, I don't need a F Trump on the side of our buildings in Victoria. I think they should be shot for that. Sorry, it's the way I feel.
There's the Iceman checking in, Torrin Bales, Matt Oker, Warren Bingham. Good
TB,
morning,
good
Sharon
morning.
Lynch. Fat Pat, good morning. J Dub.
Steve Tyler just said Brent. What did I do?
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh,
It's hard
Brent.
to name a big city run by conservatives in this country.
That's a
That
true
might
point.
be why I had
There you go.
struggled
Thank
to
you.
find it. Yeah. They were breaking curfews everywhere yesterday.
Well, wasn't the
To do
curfew in
what
like
they
some of
did.
those towns like 5:30? I mean, and what's bad is they had instituted a curfew And there was like no tolerance. Like they instituted the curfew. I'm not making this up. 7, and the curfew was for 8. And then they started beating on people that weren't.
At 7:30.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
come on.
No, there's a problem there. I
You
mean,
got to be a little
let's-
bit
Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah.
I
I was watching that yesterday, and I think it was 8. There was an 8:30 curfew. It was East Coast because it was Eastern time. And the riot police were starting to push people out of the downtown area at like 8:06.
So I'm gonna
Still got
take our
24
break.
minutes.
I'm gonna take our break, and then I'm gonna ask you a question to see if you and I can find common ground on something. And I'll be curious what our listeners think. Folks, today's a great day to get to Veracruz. They're serving their full menu. You can pick it up curbside. You can have it delivered. You can pay for it in advance. You can pay for it when you get there. You can walk inside and get it. They're just not seating people at this time. But whether you want an enchilada casserole or the best guacamole, the best flour tortillas, and the absolute best hot sauce and queso on the planet, all the accoutrement is what you need, and Veracruz has it right now. 576-6015. That's 576-6015 to place your order. I always feel like 6015. What was that from? Anyway, Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will help you build a brand, understand your brand, understand the traffic on your website. They'll help you institute a paywall. If you need to collect money for your services during this time online, they can help you coordinate your web page with your Facebook page. Basically, they can clean up and professionalize your brand on a medium that we believe is going to be around a while. You might as well have a good looking website. One thing, a website can make your company look more important than it may be at this moment. Go to WadeandCarter.com. You'll see what we mean. Adson Offer Dealer since 1926, quite frankly, Victoria's dealership. Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi. That's what they're offering right now on the new side. On the used side, they've got everything. Lexus, they've got big Ford trucks, whatever you need. They also have fleet. They've got the best paint and body shop in the county. They've
Commercial
got
trucks, commercial vehicles.
service all makes and models. They just are Victoria's dealerships.
Since 1926, family owned, family operated.
Get by and get them. Since a couple of years ago,
Family
White
owned,
Trash
family
Services,
operated.
550-1826. Just reach out to BJ Nelson and say, I want to talk to the boss. You'll get her on the phone. It's not a problem. You don't get a press 1 now. You just call and they'll talk to you. You need a roll-off dumpster for a huge project. You need weekly trash service in any of the 6 surrounding counties. They got you. White Trash Services is blowing and growing, and they encourage you to have a trash-tastic day. Compadres Design Inc., they're our banner folks. They're our swag folks. They can do everything for you, whether you need Yeti cups, Yeti coolers,
Koozies.
shirts, giveaways, whatever you need. They can do it all, and they're the best. Their work is fairly unmistakable. When I see it, for example, they wrapped all of Wentz trucks, and there's nobody else in town capable of doing that quality of work. So here's my
And they're
question.
fixing
to
to
you.
open a new location.
I can't come home right now. It's Beth. Told Brent Anderson, I woke up this morning, I had the lyrics from Beth by Kiss.
Yeah.
Now, who does that?
I don't know. And you sang it in here, and it's running through my head all morning.
I haven't
Thank you.
thought of Kiss. I haven't heard the song Beth played live in a decade. Right? Can't come home right now. Me and the boys are playing. We just can't find the sound. Just a few more hours. Right? It's terrible.
Terrible.
Now it's in y'all's heads, and I apologize.
Yeah, that was the only Kiss song they didn't play when Kiss and Scooby Doo. I don't know. Remember that movie from there? I think it was the early '80s.
And see, there's my Aunt Betty. Good morning, sweet lady. She says, late afternoon yesterday, Lubbock, Texas, had a silent walk led by the city mayor and the black police chief, and it was very impressive. Guess what? Lubbock, conservative, working towards a solution, not tearing up their assets.
Bobby Leister says, "Thanks for ruining everyone's day now."
Right, we're all stuck with Kiss. So here's my question to you, and I just want to see if because I know I'm right. See, so I just want to see if you're honest.
Christina Wise says, "No, we'll be back home to you."
Right? just a few more hours. Victoria has talent. No, that's short of Victoria has a lack of talent. You're
Yeah.
right, Stephen. You know, if I start singing along, it's time to turn up the amp.
Or turn it down.
You know, I mean, for the band.
Turn down the mic.
Can we just agree at the onset of something that I might not have agreed to, because the numbers don't always bear it out. When they talk about unarmed citizenry being shot by police, maybe not proportionate to the numbers of people, but there are more white people shot by police every year than there are black people. It's just a mathematical fact. But there's also 10 times as many white people. Okay, so let's just be honest about it. But here's the deal.
Or more.
Is it a fair starting point for our discussion to agree that if you are a black man in this country, that there are places that you could drive your vehicle where just by driving your vehicle there, you should have concern for your safety?
Yep.
And if that is a fact with no,
all you're guilty of is driving while black.
that's it. And I believe, now don't get me wrong, there's parts of Chicago that a white man shouldn't drive his car. I get it. And part of that is because
But the
there's some
police
crazy
probably
people.
won't pull you over for driving while white.
No, there's not a chance they'd pull you over driving. And I'll tell you something else I've learned. There's no chance they're going to pull you over being 57 and white. I just get a pass. It's one of the only things worth anything about getting older.
And let's be honest,
Except
I will never know what it feels like to be judged just because of the color of my skin.
No, but if they knew you were Canadian and of Rusky descent, they would also profile you. They would. I mean, you know it's true. But I'm telling you that
It's not the same, but growing up as a kid in the 70s, in the height of the Cold War, and they found out you were Russian, you were automatically a commie.
sure.
Kids didn't know what that meant, but you were a commie.
And you weren't automatically a commie, you were indoctrinated.
That's right. No, I was automatically a commie. I
When
had
you
to come
look
around.
back, and this is, we say it all the time, and this is not, it doesn't make us any money to say this. Victoria is very blessed. Aside from a fake news, made up story in the local newspaper several years ago, we don't know.
Well, we did have a stop about 5 years ago where a guy tased a 76-year-old Hispanic man because he wouldn't listen to him.
Because that
And that
man
guy
was an
got
idiot.
fired.
That man deserved to be tased. Just saying. But no, whether he was Hispanic or 75 or whatever, he was an individual. The law doesn't say you stay in your car if the officer instructs you to, unless you're 75 and decide. Now, the officer was incorrect in his traffic stop, but by not listening, by deciding to assert his will, the man got tased. Okay, that's fine. And the officer got fired and went on to become the officer of the year in another city. All that being said, it is a starting point in this country that if you are a black person, but especially a black man, you are more likely to live in a state of constant anxiety over the fact that, somehow I got over into River Oaks and they're going to, some cop's going to pull up and ask, are you working in somebody's yard over here? No, my name's Akeem Olajuwon and I live here. Being a black man in the United States of America is a challenge, and that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And that doesn't make me a liberal.
And
I'm not a liberal.
It's not just the United States of America. It happens in Canada. It happens in Australia. It happens in England. It happens in Europe. It happens all over the world.
Justice Witowski says, I've been pulled over for being white trash back in my trash days, and BJ Nelson of White Trash Services said, hey, watch it. You kids take that outside.
I think the focus is on America because the United States of America has 340 million people in it.
Yeah.
And the world looks to the U.S.
338 after those 2 million died from COVID.
And the rest of the world tends to look towards the U.S.
No doubt. And what are we showing
what's
them right
happening?
now? What we're showing them right now is, and again, it's so easy to Monday morning quarterback. But I don't know who told Donald Trump it was a good idea to walk through the gates of the White House and go over and hold up a Bible and act like, I mean, look, I get it.
Well, wait, you forgot. They first had to tear gas the people that were standing there and just chanting, and there was no violence at the time, and push them out of the way.
Right.
Absolutely one of probably the stupidest moves any president could have made at any time, but maybe more so when you're on one hand trying to talk and calm people down, and you almost, unless there's some evidence out there that I'm not seeing, you basically just violated their First Amendment right as the government.
Well, think about it, because folks are standing at the symbol of our republic. They're standing in front of the White House. And look, man, Richard Nixon had those people there for 5 years. I mean, come on. The Vietnam War was an endless protest in front of the White House. It's part of the deal. I don't understand the idea of like, we need to clear a walkway.
And I get it.
So that's
St. John's
tear gas.
Episcopal Church was burned the other day. I sort of maybe understand what he was trying to do. The timing of it was absolutely stupid.
Right. And you couldn't take a limousine caravan over there. Half of them would still be inside the White House grounds. So
The optics of it were even stupider when you saw the video of him just standing there holding a Bible like this.
basically,
If this is the Bible, this is how he was holding it.
it's basically a
Doing
photo
this.
op.
And
Even though I'm supporting the president, it was basically a photo op. He might have been better off just staying in the White House. If Barack Obama had done it, people would have gone nuts about, oh, what an idiot. He's a Muslim. I mean, it would have just been that deal. Interesting. Haven't heard much out of Greg Abbott this week. Not saying that's good or bad. Maybe I just haven't caught it, but I haven't heard much out of the governor.
well, as with a lot of our state officials, a really muddied and muddled response to, I agree with everybody's First Amendment right to peaceful protest. Okay, we can all get on board with that.
Yeah.
And then when he starts addressing the rioters and the looters, he doesn't condemn their lawlessness. He basically just calls it unacceptable. No, that's not unacceptable. That's beyond unacceptable. It's against the law.
Yeah.
That's part of this that we talk about systemic racism, but I don't know any law that's written that says if you're white, you can't do this. If you're black, you can't do this.
No, I don't think there are any. The law doesn't discriminate on paper. BJ Nelson says, I stood right there, and even on non-high anxiety days, there was a lot of police presence. I thought it was amazing. I'm assuming she thought that what the president did was amazing. And there is, of course, we're trying to be critical. We're trying to peel back a layer or two. On the surface, you just go, oh, that's cool. The president walked over there. That makes sense. But then when you look at the logistics, usually it takes days of planning for the president to leave the White House grounds. And apparently he just got up and said, I'm walking over there, somewhat defiant, probably a huge anxiety. There's been lots and lots of Secret Service, and I think 90 officers injured, Secret Service folks injured during all this lunacy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. One of the things that's excluded from your commercial insurance policy? Ding, 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 ding. Riots. A lot of those folks, you think COVID didn't put them out of business. Wait until the riot tears it up.
Chris Conrad says governor did have a presser yesterday, said that if any out-of-state instigators are arrested in Texas, they will be prosecuted on a federal level.
Does that mean illegal aliens? All of the illegal aliens, bless their hearts, they're working. They're not rioting.
Yeah, I don't know.
James Kerr says there's a birthday parade for Miss Lorena Williams. That's today at 11 o'clock, Twin Pines North, right there at the corner of Millette and Briggs.
Dana Moore de la Garza checking in. Good
Hello,
morning.
Dana. Hope you're doing great. That reminds me to tell you about Uncle Mutt's barbecue. Today's a great day to get by Uncle Mutt's and pick up. We had turkey the other day on Sunday, I told you, but turkey, brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, they've got it all. You can get your chicken a la carte. You can even tell them, hey, I just want half a chicken. Don't even cut it up. Take it home and cut it yourself.
Why is brisket a Saturday thing and turkey's a Sunday thing?
I don't know. I that's a great question. And I don't know if that's because of the holidays or
But the interesting thing is you can satisfy both those days at Uncle Mutt's.
all at the same time. You can get it all at the same time and heat it up during the week. All the side dishes, the Uncle Mutt's rice.
You're going to have leftovers.
phenomenal. Yeah, we did. I ate pea salad yesterday. It's great. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue is your barbecue. When you get your barbecue Jones, that's the place to go. Gray Barn Design will come out and detail your next event. You can call Cheryl at 920-6803. She'll come out, take your ideas. What Cheryl does well is she will sit and listen to you. And you say, well, I don't have a theme in mind. Well, what is your family like? Well, how do you want this to be?
What colors do you
remembered?
like?
Do you want it to be dressy? Do you want it to be casual? Do you want it to be Western? Do you want it to be, formal? Whatever. She can do it all. And she's got her own stuff to make your party or your event memorable. People always remember the food, the decorations,
And the open bar.
and the bar.
Well, yeah. Or actually, let me rephrase that. Whether or not you had an open bar.
That's it.
That's it.
It's one of those crazy. Oh, you went to a wedding? Open bar? Cool. Band?
Yeah.
DJ. Band or DJ? Went services.
How'd the bride look?
Right.
That's
Oh,
it. Those are the three questions you always get, right?
she was hardly showing. Reach out to Went Services. If you want a generator, right now it's storm season officially, day 2. Reach out.
And we already got our potential third name storm in Atlantic season, so I'm going to bring that up.
Get a Went generator. They test themselves. They are ready to go. When the power goes off, it's seamless. Your generator kicks on. But in the meantime, get the solar panels. Put them on your roof. Put them where they have access to the sun. Went will take care of all of that. And then feed the power back to a battery backup made by Generac here in the USA. You'll be glad you did. When the power goes out, Generac comes on, and Went is your home for Generac in the Crossroads.
Yeah, there is Tropical Depression 3 in the Gulf of Mexico down off. It came in from the Pacific side and is now sitting. See, there's the Bay of Campeche right down there. See that?
Yes, sir.
It's kind of meandering around there. They are thinking that there will be some strengthening of this. It looks like the 5-day forecast shows it's still sitting there. Somebody who probably has more historical memory than I do pointed out that this is almost the exact same way that Hurricane Carla began
Is that right?
back in 1961?
I want to go to the Bay of Ceviche with Jimmy Buffett.
What would Jimmy Buffett do?
Stay for about a week. He'd have another margarita. What did BJ Nielsen
So
say
there's
about
tropical
there?
storm warning for the Gulf of Mexico right now with this thing. So they are expecting some strengthening. What is what?
We'll go up one click and see what Ms. Nelson is. What is there? She said
I'm sure the government will pony up and provide assistance to businesses that were affected by
rioters.
the rioters.
And I'm sure you're right, because guess what? When honestly, when Nancy Pelosi can say $3 trillion in a sentence without just passing out, what's a couple of $1 billion to fix up some storefronts? It's nothing.
I find it interesting that you got states that are doing nothing, yet they're going to want, and they're all, now they're talking state rights and blah blah blah. They don't want the federal guard or the National Guard in there from the federal government, but they're going to lean on the federal government to bail them out of this situation because they've decided to do nothing but let their cities burn.
Well, that's right. You can bet Minnesota with Ilhan Omar. You can bet she'll be the first one saying, where's the federal government to provide funds? Yeah, we turned Minneapolis over to the looters, but we need our city rebuilt, and it's the federal government's responsibility.
And it was interesting because I think it was David Webb yesterday, who's a radio talk show
Not
host.
Jack Webb,
No, not Jack Webb.
just the facts, man.
Well, he was spewing just the facts. He said, look at the decades of political leadership in these cities that are absolutely under siege and being wrecked.
Yeah.
Democrat cities that have done nothing for their people for decades.
Like Baltimore.
They've
There's
been-
nothing left to destroy in Baltimore.
They've been run by Democrats. They've been pandered to by Democrats. And nothing has been achieved by Democrats for decades.
The irony, Ash,
And
is that
the Democrats took their bull cape, waved it, and went, "Olay, go on in."
the irony is that the Democrats came into power because in a lot of these very urban cities where you had a large minority presence that was either unemployable or chose to be unemployed, there was nothing for these folks to do. Inner city Detroit, the auto plants started closing up. Inner city Pittsburgh, the steel plants started closing up.
Oh,
Everything
part
went
of
to
that.
China. Here's what happens. President Trump comes in. The economy starts booming and flourishing. There's jobs for all the people that want them. And these inner cities have their Democratic leadership has suppressed that as much as they can. I think the Democratic Party as a whole has done more to create race relation problems and hold down quote unquote minorities than any other institution on the planet.
And my own personal feeling is a lot of this started with, you look at where they ran the interstates through. Thriving Black communities,
Right.
when they started building them, displacing people, or basically ruining prime real estate. I mean, they didn't just, I mean, they
You
were
take away their sense of community.
Yep.
You take away their sense of
you cut their
pride.
communities in half in a lot of
Absolutely.
cases. I mean,
And why? Because well, that's cheap real estate over there. Don't do it in my neighborhood.
there's your government, folks.
That is your government. So Tossie says, did y'all hear anything about a rocket leaving Earth? Yes.
Yeah.
Bob and Doug, the
Well,
McKenzie brothers, have docked at the International Space Station. They seem thrilled to be there.
I'd be thrilled to be there too. You're not on Earth. I wonder if they can see the fires from up there.
Probably not.
Warren Bingham said, "I'm waking up at 5 o'clock every morning to listen to our show during these times, and I wonder when I wake up to turn on our show, which city will have fallen?
Yeah.
And will that be the new norm? Wake up to see what cities are still alive and which have fallen." And I
I'm gonna bet
think
on
just by
Texas.
default, Minneapolis will be the first, and I think Seattle will be right behind it.
But I'm going to bet on Texas. I want you to think about what's going on, though. That like Seattle, if you had to label it conservative or liberal, which is it, Ash? Seattle.
Oh,
Conservative.
very liberal.
And so here you are. A bunch of liberal people in a liberal city are going to trash their own city. I don't get it. And Seattle, probably white, then Asian, long before black in terms of population. Craziness. It's just craziness.
It's all, and you can't pin this on any one group, ethnicity. Everybody's been involved in this,
Yep. Sorry, Iceman.
You know?
I missed your comment.
except law-abiding citizens. He said Adam Daughtry said that, not the Iceman.
That's Roger Daughtry's little brother. We're big with one-offs. 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, you know.
Yeah, no, that was forgotten. NASA was plummeted and plundered under the Obama administration.
Yeah.
And
But now we have Space Force.
we got Space Force.
It's super duper.
You got, I'll be honest, I was leery. I was not, I was hoping for the best. I was not optimistic that SpaceX Dragon was going to get to the space station.
You didn't think, like, you gave it like a 50-50?
I'll be honest, I wasn't giving it that much.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that much confidence in Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, he's shaping up to be like the front runner in 2024.
I don't think so.
I don't know if I'd know that guy if I saw him.
Nondescript.
American?
Yeah.
Don't know him.
Jeremy Pena checking in.
Randy Langston says we're not going to be immune to it. It's already trying to start. I just don't think that Victorians and folks in this area, number one, are that. It's not that they're not that angry. They just are better suited to express their anger. And I assure you, Victorians won't tolerate it. You will have a, he came out over there, came in up my driveway. I just popped him right there with the 40 Smith & Wesson semi-automatic pistol.
James Kerr says Elon Musk, the new Howard Hughes, without the long fingernails.
Without the long
It
finger.
could be a little bit eccentric, but well, I mean, I think we got a couple of things going for us too. We don't have a bunch of storefronts downtown full of stuff that people want.
It's a great day for there to be nothing to do in Victoria. There's nothing to loot and plunder. That's actually kind of funny. What was the other one? There's nothing to do and there's nothing to see here, folks. Just move along. Antifa goes, nothing here.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Keep on going. We'll go to the next town as they make their way from Houston to Corpus and try to stop here.
Yep.
Really nothing
Well,
here.
Randy Lacy says it's going to come from outside. I'm just telling you. I mean, I'm telling you without inciting anything. If people come in here from outside and start trying to tear up our town, you will find people from outside getting shot in our town. Just the way it is. We're not going to put up with it.
I don't know that we might not see a statement like Lakeland, Florida, Polk County Sheriff, but
No, but you'll hear it. You'll hear that. Pat, 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 pat.
James Kerr says he wants one of the cyber trucks. Is that electronic truck that Elon Musk is building? It looks too weird.
They're saying we've got issues that there is a Target and a dollar. There's more than $1 General at them.
Yeah. Our favorite
You're right.
furniture stores downtown.
Yep, it is. You know, though, and one great thing is like furniture is a thought out decision. If I need furniture, I drive downtown to see Chesapeake Furniture Company. You don't just go, oh, wait, a furniture store, pull in. People go there with purpose.
It's not.
I was
it's
thinking about
not
the square.
impulse purchase.
Yeah, I was thinking about the square where there's just, when I was a kid, there were 2 movie theaters down there. Going downtown was a big deal, people. It was a big deal to go downtown in Victoria. The Rialto and the El Rancho, both theaters downtown.
Main Street. The Denver Hotel was down there, right?
Yeah,
Was
but
it Denver?
I don't remember
Not when you were
that.
there?
No. The Denver Hotel was around the early 1900s.
Okay. I thought
I
you were,
was just a kid.
I thought you were that old.
Yeah.
Thought you were there back then.
Yep. Patrick Strauss says, I want a white trash truck. They're hiring.
They're blowing and going.
Yep.
Let's see what else is happening. Hey, where's COVID? Anybody know?
No, it's over. So COVID went away the same way the impeachment went away when COVID happened, the same way that North Korea went away when the impeachment happened, the same way the Hong Kong riots went away when North Korea
Oh,
happened.
Hong Kong riots are came. I'm going to do a little bit more tonight on Hong
You don't hear
Kong
about it?
because President Trump, in my opinion, failed the people of Hong Kong recently when he had a chance to make a statement against China's aggressions in Hong Kong.
Do you
failed
think
to
he was
do so.
advised not to talk smack about China?
Well, every other president has
Denounced?
has been rhetorical in their speech against those
He's
aggressions,
had a little
and
on
it's
his plate. He's had a little on his plate.
doesn't matter.
How do you feel about
It's allowing China to get away with. I mean, they're spraying people with blue dyed water
China?
to so they can mark the demonstrators and go back and get them later.
I like that, actually. I do. I like that. It's a good idea. It didn't hurt them, but you can find them later.
What laws have they broken in China besides oppressive laws to peacefully assemble?
I don't know. It's you keep trying to apply logic to an illogical situation. I mean, China is a communist dictatorship regime.
Yep.
Just because they're little doesn't mean that they're not mean.
Country of 1 billion people.
They're like kittens. They're cute, and then you poke one of them, and then they rip your skin off. Just saying. We're more like dogs. Where to go? Where to go? Swag our tail. Wait for everybody to come back. The COVID deal has kind of gone away. You know what? You know what's lost in all this? You know what started yesterday?
What's that?
The
Hurricane season?
Obamagate
Did it or
troughs.
did it not?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It
Started
was
yesterday.
supposed to, but I don't know that it did. I haven't seen any. I couldn't find anything on it.
Did they put it off? Everybody was rioting,
Maybe.
looting. We'll do some research on that, folks. We'll see what's going on with Obamagate. We'll see what's going on. Porta potty water. Yeah, they sprayed porta potty water on.
Pretty much.
Say that 3 times fast. Porta potty water. Sound like you're from the deep south. Porta potty water. We appreciate you guys listening today.
Yeah, we'll get into the contact tracing quote too, because that's
Yeah.
just absolutely
350
ridiculous.
million. If it's only a million, if it's not a billion, if it's not a trillion,
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter anymore. Hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Don't forget to call Allen's Wrecker Service if you have a vehicle incident, 578-6300.
And we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Okay, be well, folks.
Bye, folks.
Bye.